Hey folks, what I want to go over with you today is just a quick fix for what I would call drafty fireplace glass doors. I have just a standard fireplace prefab behind this blanket and with glass doors, and even with the glass doors, I found that you still get a ton of draft off of them, and it just makes the whole room cold. It's better than nothing, but so I just want to go over what I did. I thought it helped improve the draft around this fireplace significantly. I have another video where I talked about the flue, which I sealed up a little bit, but even with that, it's still a cold area and a cold, drafty part of the house. So here's what I did: is what I went out and did is I got some of this reflective um, bubble wrap stuff right here. You can get this at Home Depot, really cheap, and some companies actually sell this stuff for a multiple different purposes. But this is like the stuff that you would line a cooler with. And I just bought a big roll of it for pretty cheap, like 10-20 bucks, something like that, and cut it to size and just put it right in front of the fireplace here. And I used some foil duct tape to close the seams. And I put that across the entire front of the fireplace glass doors. I can pull this back and you can see it's your standard glass fireplace doors. Not much to it. And I put that in front of the fireplace doors, and obviously that's not very pretty to look at. So what I then did was I had this tiny blanket that just seemed to fit perfectly around it, and I just bought some of these little magnets. These aren't ceramic magnets. These are some kind of like other raw earth material that usually when you go on Amazon, you'll see them as advertised as like really, really strong magnets. And most of the time they're nickel plated. And there's a lot of complaints about just the nickel plated ones. And these are a version of those that are nickel plated and then again coated with some kind of like waterproof rubber. It's really hard. But it's supposed to help durability of these, and they're really, really strong. And I've got a bunch of these magnets just placed around the blanket, and it's holding up this pretty heavy quilt blanket around the fireplace, just to add a little more, aesthetic to it, but also it adds a little more draft blocking around it. And one other thing that you should really check too is, and this was the case with me, is that across the header of the fireplace framing, this steel or aluminum, I'm not sure what kind of metal this is, stainless steel or something, there was insulation across the top, this top horizontal bar here, but across the sides, on both sides, there was no insulation in this part, and there was also no insulation across the bottom. So that, of course, didn't help. So there's also you can get fireplace rated insulation. This is it's like the pink stuff, but it comes in a strip that's already cut to size for these kinds of fireplace doors. So between adding the insulation on the sides and the bottom, and then further adding this reflective bubble wrap, and then the blanket on top of that, I felt like it really helped cut back the draft. It's not 100% obviously. Like there's still a seam here that I didn't seal where you get a little bit of draft from, but I mean the room feels warmer when you're around the fireplace. You don't get that cold draft off of it, and that's really what I was going for. Not 100%, but more like 90% ish seal, and just kind of blocking that cold draft. And I think this really worked well for me. Obviously, I'm in a really cold part of the Northeast where it can get down to 5-10 degrees or below. And when you have that kind of weather, the cold air just kind of comes rushing through these things. So hope this helps. Thanks.